recorded and broadcast on the authority's website. Any person in view of a camera is by virtue of attending, consenting to be filmed and to the possible use of those images and sound recordings being used as outlined. Democratic Services, can I please ask you to start the recording? And we have, lovely. Prynawn da, croeso, good afternoon. Welcome to the Merthyr Tydfil County Borough Council full council meeting on Wednesday, the 12th of November 2025. Thank you. Right, agenda item 1, apologies for absence. Do we have any apologies for absence?
I haven't received any, Chair.
And thank you. Agenda item 2, declarations of interest. Members are reminded of... Oh, sorry, Councillor Mitten.
Oh, crumbs. I'm back. I've just had a message off Councillor Jeremy Davis to give his apologies. He says his internet is not working.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Councillor Mitten. I'll start this part again. Members are reminded of their personal responsibility to declare any personal and prejudicial interest in respect of matters contained in this agenda in accordance with the provisions of the Local Government and Finance Act in 1992 relating to council tax, the Local Government Act 2000, the Council's Constitution and the Members' Code of Conduct. Note that members are reminded that they must identify the item number and subject matter that their interest relates to and signify the nature of their personal interests, and where members withdraw from a meeting as a consequence, the disclosure of a prejudicial interest, they must notify the chair when they leave. Okay. Moving on, agenda item 3.
Yes, Madam Mayor, I have a personal interest to declare on item 6, and this is due to my position held within a community organisation that organises events at Taffbar Guide Park.
Personal, is it prejudicial?
No, not prejudicial, just personal.
Okay. Thank you, Councillor Simmons. Right, firstly, agenda item 3 is a notice of question. A member of the public... Oh, sorry, I can't... Right, Councillor Mitten, please.
Yeah, thanks. I just want to declare personal interest as well. I organised 2 Christmas tree events within the ward in Veyna, one in Cefn, one in Trefechan, as well as other numerous community events. Reading the event policy tonight, I think I should declare personal interest in that. Thank you.
Okay, Gareth Richards, please.
Likewise, like Councillor colleague Simmons and Mitten, I assist and chair an organisation which are involved in these community events.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Clive Tubby, please.
Yes, like Lisa, help organise the Christmas tree events in Veyna ward.
Okay, thank you. Councillor David Hughes, please.
Same as others, I arrange events at the engine of. So.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Councillor Hughes. Councillor Julia Jenkins, please.
I arrange the events as well. So does John Thomas, who can't get on here, and Andrew Barry.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Louise Mitten-Vokes, please.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. Yeah, just a personal interest because I am a committee member for Merthyr Pride.
Okay, thank you. I still got hands up 1, 2 and 3 of the same people who've just declared interest. Is it just your hands are up or you've still got something to ask me? Thank you.
Yeah.
David Jones.
Any declared personal interest as well. I'm also on the Pride Committee.
Okay, thank you. Is there any further declarations of interest, please? No? Okay. Please move on. Yeah. Okay. Agenda item 3. A member of the public has asked that the Mayor raise the question to full council. The question being, the Audit Wales report on the review of whistleblowing arrangements related to safeguarding at Merthyr Council was published in August 2019. When will this report be considered and discussed at a council meeting, And when will an investigation be conducted on the findings of the report? Monitoring Officer, please.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. I will look at that and I will take the matter forward to decide whether anything is to be done.
Okay, thank you very much. Agenda item 4. Minutes of previous meetings. These items are to approve and enter into the record the draft minutes of meetings previously circulated to committee members with a request to confirm accuracy. Do we have a mover, please?
I'm happy to move, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Carter. Do we have a seconder, please?
Happy to second, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor David Jones. Are there any comments on the accuracy, please? No comments? Okay, then we take that to the vote then, please.
Okay, so could all councillors in agreement with the recommendation please raise their hands? Yeah, that's carried, Chair.
Okay, lovely, thank you. Councillor Richards, yeah, you've got your hand up, yeah? Councillor Bill Smith?
I think they're just going down slowly.
Any remaining members to, lovely, thank you. Okay, agenda item 5, budget, no, we'll take, oh yes, we will do it. Budget 2026-27 and the medium-term financial plan update report. To consider the report of the Director of Finance, Councillor Anna Williams-Price, could I invite you to address the council, please?
Thank you, Chair. This item provides an update on the Council's medium-term financial plan and the development of the 2026-27 budget. The report outlines the latest economic and fiscal context, including inflationary trends, pay pressures and funding assumptions, and explains how these factors impact on our financial planning. Members will note the revised assumptions underpinning the medium-term financial plan, the indicative budget gap of 5.619 million, and the report also highlights the ongoing actions being taken to set a balanced budget for 26-27. Members will also note that the current forecasted budget gap represents a £3.386 million reduction from the previously reported position. The report also highlights key risks and uncertainties that will require ongoing monitoring, and a proposed budget timetable is listed at Appendix 1. This update is a critical part of ensuring financial sustainability and ensuring we align our resources with the Council's strategic priorities. For information, following agreement from Cabinet earlier today, recommendation 2.3 is not being put forward to Council for approval. So I will therefore move 4 recommendations, which are the revised assumptions to support the development of the medium-term financial plan due to the changing environment in which plans are being developed, be noted. Corporate management team continue to work with the relevant portfolio cabinet members to identify potential savings to assist in addressing the indicative budget gap across the period of the medium-term financial plan, be noted. Agree that the budget timetable set out in Appendix 1 be adopted, and this report is presented to Joint Scrutiny Committee for their scrutiny and feedback, be noted. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Price. Do we have a seconder, please?
I'm happy to second the 4 recommendations, Madam Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Carter. Any questions from members then, please? Councillor Geraint Thomas, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. If you go to 3.5.5 of the report, and I open it up, it's just doesn't want to open at the moment for me. Oh, come on. It reads, the Welsh Government published the outline draft budget which sets out high-level allocations for each Cabinet Secretary on the 14th of October 2025. The detailed draft budget with budget expenditure lines will follow on the 3rd of November 2025. The final budget will be published on the 20th of January 2026 with a debate and vote schedule for the 27th of 2026. So from that 3rd of November budget expenditure lines, have we got any updates after that or not?
Craig?
Thank you for the question, Councillor Thomas. The announcement has been around the MEGs, the main expenditure groups within Welsh Government. We will receive further information on the 24th of November with the provisional setting for local government.
So, Craig, on the 24th of November, yeah?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Do we envisage much change or not?
From the provisional, from the budget that was laid at the Senate, the provisional budget.
Yeah.
Obviously, the ongoing discussions are going on within the Senate at the moment with regards to passing the budget for 26-27. So we're continuing to work on that basis at the moment, but further information will follow when the announcement comes on the 24th of November. And within the 24th of November as well, all the data regarding council tax basis will be collected, provisional data at that time, which will inform the funding formula that comes through to the local government.
Thank you, Craig. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Andrew Barry, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Craig, can you tell me what our current, our current financing costs, capital financing costs, are, and if they already include the £4 million overspend from educational build, the refurbishment of the educational buildings?
The current cost of financing capital, historic capital works, is influenced when we actually borrow. So the cost of the increased schools sustainable commitments for learning will be factored into that, into the 26-27, and when the borrowing is required for that, because that programme is funded not only by council contribution, but obviously from grant funding from Welsh Government as well.
So to be clear, earlier where we talk about the capital financing costs for our buildings maintenance, which are considerable, are 43 million, which will cost 2.5 million and touch 7 percentage points of council tax, as you indicate within the report. That is exclusive of the 4 million overspend that we agreed to the other day.
That's correct, yes.
So that will also go on, or an element of that will go on capital financing costs, as well as some grant funding as well. So that 7% on council tax, 7 percentage points on council tax, that is outside that realm of that 4,000. Any idea how much of that 4 million will be required to be paid out of the capital financing costs, and how much will be required out of grant?
It's 65-35 intervention with Welsh Government funding, but I think they just need to clarify with regards to the backlog maintenance. In the report, it states the cost of borrowing to do that works immediately. Those works have been scheduled over a 5-year priority programme, and also there is a responsibility with regards to schools delivering some of that backlog maintenance as well, because some of that is the school's responsibility. In addition to that, there will be within that 43 million, yes. So
their budget.
It's a school's responsibility for some of those maintenance costs, yes, rather than a central cost for doing those maintenance backlog works.
Okay.
In addition to that, there is schools capital funding received as well for maintenance, and that is received in year. So that is a funding contribution to that. But in the report, it provides an illustration of the cost of borrowing to deliver against all of those works that are outstanding. Now, these works are not just materials, obviously they're backlog and they've accumulated over a number of years. So I think it's important that it's included in the report, so all members appreciate the cost to the local authority, revenue cost to the local authority in delivering against those backlog works.
Absolutely, and within that backlog, are the Gyfarth Castle works in that, or is that separate again?
I'd have to go back and give you the details. The team are actually transitioning into a new system at the moment, and we'll be able to have more intelligent information around the capital and the maintenance backlog works for specific assets We're also looking to develop how we could then be able to monitor the revenue costs in running those assets as well. So we'll have a complete picture. But I haven't got that to hand at this moment in time, Councillor Barry.
So in summary, the 43 million doesn't include all of the Carmarthen Castle stuff. It doesn't include all of the 4 million in terms of the overspend. However, there are elements of grants perhaps attached to both of those. However, that will feed into an additional amount that's going to need to come out of our capital financing, out of our revenue grant, yeah?
Yeah, the cost would fall as a capital financing cost if we took forward that £43 million, as I say, in year one, and that's not the case. It's going to be a priority of works over a 5-year programme. And I think it's useful to remind members that there's also a capacity requirement as well to be able to resource the delivery of those works. So it's not only the available funding to deliver the capital and the backlog maintenance, but also the capacity within the teams to manage the project management, those works as well. And that's being considered as well as we talk to the Sustainable Scrutiny Committee.
But I think it's prudent also to mention, Craig, that that figure is as of now, and our assets deteriorate. So there's a growing cost there that's going to need to be managed. So that's the moment in time we're also talking about as well. So it's not a finite amount. That's an increasing amount over time due to the nature of the assets that we hold, yeah?
You're correct to say that, yes, Councillor Barry.
All right, thank you, Craig.
Thank you. I did see Councillor Mitten, hand up, and Councillor Michelle Jones, but they don't see it now. Is there any further questions?
No, Madam Mayor, thank you. It was regarding capital, but I think the next part of the draft budget debate, etc., is really where we'll look at those fine lines of budgetary terms and capital spend, etc. So I'll leave it for then. If I may, though, I think just perhaps the Chief Executive and Leader, just very briefly, are we, lobbying WLGA, etc., because the CABSEC sort of gave us a poison chalice, if you like, didn't he? When he set out the draft budget, he said, not forgetting that he was put £380 million into unallocated funds, I guess, for opposition to fight over in order to get the budget through, because Labour, sadly, 2 seats down. I say sadly because I work very closely with one of those colleagues who we lost recently. But I'm just wondering, Leader or Chief Exec, are any of those discussions happening? Do we have any window of opportunity to lobby for any additional monies out of that 380 unallocated?
Yeah, thanks for the question, Councillor Mitten. The answer is probably every single day. There's a lot of conversations taking place. I speak to people every day. And it's not just Merthyr Tydfil, it's every authority across Wales are doing exactly the same. So there's a lot of pressure being exerted at this particular moment in time. I am hopeful that we will have a better settlement than planned, but we'll see what comes out the other side. But yeah, rest assured that it's on everybody's minds and lips as we go forward.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks both. Thanks.
Sorry, can I come in on the back of that? From an officer perspective, obviously liaison with West Government officials in terms of giving granular detail on the ground in terms of plights of services. That again happens daily. For example, housing, we're having those conversations with the relevant government departments, as every other councillor is doing as well.
Yeah, thanks, Ellis.
Okay, Councillor Mitten, thank you. We'll move on to comments then, please. Any comments? No comments? Oh, yes. Councillor Geraint-Thomas, please.
Well, thank you, Madam Mayor. And I think, as the Leader and Ellis and Lisa just said, we've got challenges coming to all of us over the next few months, and we've got some difficult decisions to make. The borrowing picture looks a bit stark when you see that graph growing and growing over the next, 3 to 4 years. It's going up sharply, and the revenue to pay it back. So I think that's one we need to keep in mind going forward about how much we borrow in the medium to long term.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Thomas. Councillor Andrew Barry, please.
Something similar, to be honest, Madam Mayor, in terms of the staggering amounts that we're talking about. I think when In 2022, our capital borrowing requirement was £789,000. And to see the figures we're talking about now and how that relates to council tax, I think there'll be some raised eyebrows by the residents of Merthyr Tydfil, when in addition to the amount that's mentioned in the report, we also talk about the 4 million not being in there, albeit caveated by the fact there may be some grant assistance there. To be looking at council tax at those levels, I mean, I just don't understand how we've allowed our building maintenance costs to get so out of hand. That sits alongside the fact that since 2020 we've had an agile working policy where a huge amount of our workforce work from home on a regular basis. Now, in terms of, you either have an agile working policy and you reduce your asset requirement because people simply aren't in the buildings, or you don't have an agile working policy and people are in the buildings. There seems to be no appetite, and I'm not hearing anything about the reduction of assets, when particularly I hear there are very few people in the Civic Centre, there are very few people in the Orbit Centre, there are very few people in any of our buildings. And I think our assets, is it in the region of £213 million worth of assets? It just doesn't stack up for the residents of Merthyr that we have all these buildings. We have an agile working policy. We have a growing maintenance budget. We have overspends coming out of left field. You can understand why the residents of Merthyr would feel hard done by, because it doesn't appear that we're doing enough to balance the equation between agile working, our assets, and that maintenance budget. There's a correlation in there that needs work, and it needs work urgently. And I have to say I'm disappointed in terms of the figures that are being brought out in these reports. I mean, they're staggering. We need urgent discussions to talk about a radical change in how we run this authority. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Barry. No further comments now. We'll take that to the vote then, please.
Sorry.
You've got a comment to make, yeah? Yeah.
Thank you. Just want to summarise in terms of the nature of the debate, particularly around the point made around estate rationalisation. Just for members to be aware, I think this is on the radar of our transformation programme currently as that progresses. And obviously this report is being clear about the risks associated with the capital finance programme. And this has already been escalated to the corporate risk register by Cabinet, and further updates on mitigating actions against the risks have been undertaken, such as Capital Insight Board, as referenced in this report, and more detail will be reported with the Q2 performance risk and finance report in December. With regards to the maintenance backlog, obviously we have seen increases in the past years. In 23-24, it was 35.9 million, increasing to 42.7 million in 2024-25. So I absolutely agree that this does need to be considered in line with the capital programme more broadly, as already noted in the report of 3.24.3. Thank you.
Okay. Can I just say, because we're in the room and it's difficult to see people's hands going out. So yeah, I was focusing on it. So if someone could just, yeah, thank you. Okay, then we move on to the voters, please.
Okay, so could all councillors in agreement with the officer's recommendation please raise their hands? Okay. If any councillor not in agreement with the officer's recommendation, please raise their hands. Still got hands going down, sorry. And any councillor who wishes to abstain, could they raise their hand, please? I think that's carried, Chair.
Okay, thank you. Moving on then to agenda item 8. Merthyr Tydfil County Borough Council Events Policy. To consider the report of the Chief Executive, Councillor James Green, could I invite you to address the council, please?
Sorry, thank you, Madam Mayor. So the report that's been presented this evening is to seek the council's approval for the events policy. Policy itself is fairly simple with the appendix attached I want to go through. And it has been drafted following a number of internal departments' input and has to clearly outline the role of the council and ESAG in events within Merthyr Tydfil. It's been tweaked slightly following the scrutiny process. I'll come on to that in a second. What I will say, we've had previous questions as well, but as much as the Gleveland site is referenced within this policy, as it's a land within council ownership, if there's any relation to wider discussion on the creation or development of the site, this has been addressed through member and community engagement over the past year. That includes emails provided with detailed updates with engaged businesses, comms have issued out. But if there are any further questions around Gleveland specifically, can that be passed on to the Regen team for any relevant responses to be collated and shared accordingly outside a committee, as that's not the purpose of the report. What I will say is that we've had some further request to change the policy. So just for some clarity, I need to take you through that the recommendation is going to be slightly changed. Just find my notes 1 second, and someone should be sharing it on screen for me as well. The recommendation is going to be changed to that the Merthyr Tydfil County Borough Council events policy attached at Appendix 1 be approved aligned to the following changes. I'll take you through the changes myself now, but I'm aware that someone needs to share it online for you to all see as well.
If you can send it to Matthew.
Send to Matthew, yeah?
So, is that okay, ma'am? Then I can send that on.
Just bear with us 1 second while we make sure it's up on screen for you all.
On Teams, James. You got Teams open?
No, I haven't got Teams open.
Got Teams open, you can share the screen directly.
Councillor David Hughes, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. If we changing the policy, why couldn't it been emailed out to us so that we could have a look at it before the meeting? You know, we're in the meeting and now you're changing recommendations.
Jamie, John.
Surely we could have had an email this today to have a look at it, and then we wouldn't
Yeah,
have to have
Jamie's
all
going to
this.
come in and answer you here, okay?
Yeah, thank you, Councillor Hughes. I would agree these changes have been given us last minute, and due to the need to get this policy through as soon as possible, as it's been in the pipeline for a very long time. Myself and the team have looked at it. It doesn't specifically change the policy, it's more the wording. So we just want to make sure that that wording can be approved this evening. Just not actually making real change to the policy, it's just the wording itself.
Okay.
Thank you,
Just send
Jim.
one, I can't share it, so I'm going to share it shortly.
Oh, okay. Anne's going to share it.
Right, okay. Councillor Davis, please.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd like to propose that this item be deferred until the next full council meeting on the 3rd of December. I really welcome the positive changes that come through scrutiny, particularly the new clarity around the scope and exemptions. However, there's still a few unresolved concerns about the fees and the deposits for local community and volunteer groups, and how that discretion will operate in practice. To make sure the full version reflects what we all intend, I suggest maybe holding a short members workshop within the next 10 days to simply cross the T's and dot the I's on the remaining wording and guidance. And I would allow the officers to finalise the document and bring it back on the 3rd of December for full adoption with everybody's support.
Did Jamie, do you want to come in and answer?
Just Councillor Davis, if we can just go through the revised wording at the moment, because my understanding is that it's specifically around fees. Just given the time that that information came through and there's not enough in there for me to clarify whether we would defer before the meeting, what I would like to do is introduce you first to put those relevant questions forward as a point on behalf of Scrutiny Committee, because all members were CC'd into the email. So if we could, we may be able to niggle those problems out this evening, because I don't know what they actually are. If we can't, I'm happy to defer if it needs further looking at.
I'm happy to do that for the time being, but I do feel that, you know, this could go down a rabbit hole and there'd be lots and lots of questions. Let's see how it goes and we'll go from there.
Okay, Councillor Lisa Mitten, please.
Yeah, well, number one, Madam Mayor, I'm sorry, even with these glasses on, I can't read that. Secondly, I just wanted to support both Jamie and Lee, really. Welcome what Jamie just said about, you know, if we can't, and Councillor David Hughes actually, if we can't actually, you know, understand what the changes are, then to defer to the 3rd of December. We're only a matter of weeks. I understand that he just said there's a need to do this, but we're only a matter of weeks. It's a little bit on his head at the moment, isn't it? You know, we can't see it clearly, and also there hasn't been any wider consultation with other councillors outside of scrutiny. I don't believe, I certainly am being consulted on it, and yet there's a massive impact on me in this as a local councillor. So thank you for making it larger. Oh, it's gone. Thank you for making it larger. But it's a massive impact on me as a local councillor now, and 2 events that I actually have happening in the next 2 weeks. There's also no timeline in here as to when this particular report, you know, when this actually comes into place. So, you know, if we can cross those T's, dot those I's, etc., I think it'd be better for everybody, Jim. That's just my suggestion in support of you and Lee.
Okay. If I make a suggestion, then we'll circulate this information out now to all councillors, because this is purely on wording for clarity and understanding for community members and councillors alike. But Lee, obviously, the email that came through was there were further concerns, obviously, that you put on behalf of committee in the email. Are you able to let us know what those concerns are now that will inform us, and then we can obviously defer, just for clarity and understanding what it is that we weren't sure of when it came to the fees?
Yeah, there's no problem. I lost you for about 10 seconds then, but my Wi-Fi's playing up. But yeah, we can clarify. I think a workshop would be really good where we just address all the wording. I would say that the policy is 98% there, but it's going to raise alarm bells for the local community in terms of the fees. That's a massive concern for us, and you know, £500 before you do your event, which is already costing money. You haven't got that money, so we just want to get the clarity and the official, you know, how does, you know, dispensation be given to some community groups and not others? So yeah.
Mr. Carter, John, come in then, please.
Yeah, thanks Lee, thanks everyone. I'm happy for the report to be deferred until further information and clarity comes through to the 3rd of December. It's not a million miles away. Lee, just a quick question. In terms of this report, and you're talking about fees and charges and community groups, etc., was this fully discussed in your scrutiny?
Yeah, it was, and it was highlighted in the scrutiny that this was a concern. The policy has come through, obviously end of last week. I started looking at it yesterday. I raised the concerns with Zoe. She's addressed the majority of them, but there was still, some of the members still had a few questions around the fees. So it was raised within there. All the recommendations were there, but there's still the wording is a little bit unsure.
Okay, thanks, Lee.
Yeah, we'll take it offline. We'll defer, and we'll arrange a small workshop then for all councillors rather than just committee. And we'll just make sure this needs to be nipped in the bud and we can get it through in December.
Okay, everybody happy with that? Okay, yeah, okay, being deferred, yeah. Okay then. Agenda item 7, information report only. Local Authority Social Services Annual Report 2024-25. Any other business, agenda item 8, to deal with any other urgent business or correspondence? There is none. To receive communication from Worship the Mayor, I have none. Thank you all for attending tonight, and I declare the meeting closed.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Good evening all.
Okay, Councillor Mitten, sorry, did you want to?
Yes, sorry, Madam Mayor. Perhaps we can do it on the 3rd of December just to acknowledge the sad passing of former councillor Paul Smithers. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.